Tree leaves are often overlooked as a food source, but they can be good salad greens or handy ingredients for adding flavour into dishes. But it's all about timing. Most tree leaves you want to be collecting as the fresh growth emerges in spring. When I'm foraging tree leaves, I just collect them sparingly off several different trees, and I avoid picking from young trees altogether. Linden is an easy option for those living in towns, because linden trees are often planted along urban streets and in town parks. And these leaves are quite soothing if you've got a sore throat. These leaves are at their best in April, and you want to be getting them when they're a nice bright green colour like this. And they should be slightly translucent, so you should just be able to make out your finger through the leaf. Linden has heart-shaped leaves with a long pointed tip and a toothed margin, and they have an asymmetrical base. And it's quite common for linden trees to have this suckering growth at the base. And if you want any more details on how to identify trees, then check out my Tree ID series, which I'll leave a link to in the description. Beech probably have the best of the edible tree leaves. If you catch them like this when they're still slightly translucent, then they can have a really lovely citrus flavour. I eat a lot of beech leaves in my spring salads, mixed with dandelion greens, wild garlic, and whatever else I can forage. You can also use them to make a gin-based liqueur called beech leaf noyau. Beech leaves are oval with quite a wavy edge. And when the leaves are really young, they have fine hairs along the edge. Hawthorn has to be one of the easiest trees to find. Just walk down any country road, because hawthorn is one of the most used plants in hedging. The leaf buds in March have a nice nutty flavour, and the open leaves are fine to eat as long as they're still bright green like this. Once they've turned darker green and glossy, then they'll be too tough to eat. Hawthorn has small leaves that are deeply lobed. You should only eat oak leaves when they're really young, like this, and only in small amounts, because oak leaves contain bitter tannins, which can cause a stomach upset if you eat too many. I like adding just a few of these to salads, but I quite like bitter flavours. But actually the best use for these is for flavouring oak leaf wine. Oak have one of the most easily recognisable leaves with their undulating lobes. Silver birch leaves are best dried and used in herbal teas. Taste a little bit like green tea. Chuck a few birch twigs in too for a tea with mild pain relieving properties. Silver birch leaves are roughly triangular in shape, and have doubly serrated margins. Out of all the elm trees, wych elm is by far the one that I see the most of, but English elm and field elm leaves can also be eaten. Just keep in mind that they've been decimated by Dutch elm disease, so they're quite uncommon in some parts of the UK. So take care not to overharvest. The leaves of wych elm are a decent edible. The seed pods can be harvested at the same time as well, and these have got a mild cucumber flavour. Finding these seed pods on the floor is a good sign that you've got wych elm nearby. Elm leaves are oval and have a sharply pointed tip and a serrated margin, and they have an asymmetrical base. Hazel is best known for its nuts, but its leaves are edible too. They're better when they're younger. They're not particularly tasty. In fact, they don't really have a flavour at all. But they're okay mixed with other salad greens. Hazel is a very common tree that you can find in most woodlands and hedgerows. The leaves are rounded with a pointed tip, and they've got a doubly toothed margin. And they've also got quite a rough, downy feel. Scots pine needles have a strong resinous flavour. They're good chopped up and steeped in hot water for tea, and they're high in vitamin C. The needles can be collected all year round. Scots pine have 2 needles that are joined at the base. And when crushed, they've got a strong resinous smell. Just like pine, spruce needles can be harvested all year round, but these bright green spruce tips are much tastier, and they can be harvested in April. They've got a really strong citrus flavour, and I use these for flavouring things like syrups. Spruce needles are attached singularly to the branch by a woody peg. The needles have a square profile, so they'll roll between your thumb and finger, and they have a strong resinous and citrus smell. Not all trees have edible leaves, and some are toxic. Of these, the most to be aware of is the yew tree, which can be deadly if eaten. So especially if you're harvesting evergreen needles, be very careful of the yew tree. Yew has needles that are flattened, and they have a pointed tip. They're darker green on the top surface and lighter underneath. And they've got a raised ridge running the length of the leaf on the undersurface. Yew needles don't have much of a smell, unlike the strong resinous smell of pine and spruce. But even a small amount of these yew needles could cause serious issues, so be very careful. Elder is known for its beautiful aromatic flowers and purple berries, but its leaves and stems are mildly toxic. Elder has compound leaves with 2 or 3 pairs of opposing leaflets and then 1 terminal leaflet, and these leaflets have toothed margins. And also, elder leaves have quite an unpleasant smell when crushed. This is the horse chestnut or conker tree, and these also have mildly toxic leaves, so they shouldn't be consumed. They have palmately compound leaves, so the leaflets all radiate out from a central point. Let me know some of your favourite recipes and uses for tree leaves down in the comments, and thanks for watching.